I hope everybody's having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. This is a short video and we're going to go through the market action from last week. This is for week 35, which is the week ending September 3, 2021. So right now we're looking at a chart of the VTI index as usual. Week chart on the left and a daily chart on the right. Let me spread this out a little bit, make it a little bit easier to clear to see here. Okay, so we can see that the market last week continued to move up. It was kind of a tame week, especially when you consider the action that took place on the Friday of week 34, which was this big jump that you can see over here. And you can see the daily action sort of pushed up consistently, but no big daily moves. The weekly prices are still at the single standard deviation from the regression line, which is this blue line here. So with any luck, it'll keep following this line up like it has done for the last, since March of this year. So the volume has sort of been consistent, nothing really earth-shattering on the up days. MACD's kind of flat, which is a little bothersome, but it's still moved. The market is still generally moving up, so we're happy with that. On balance volume is okay. And the DMI, you can see that the DMI plus has just crossed the DMI minus, which is a good indication that the rally will continue, although how fast nobody really knows, of course. What's really strong here is that if you look down to the ADX, which is a good indicator of the strength of the trend, you'll see down here that it's at a paltry 15. It was up at almost 40 here, back here in, let's see, in the early part of the year. So well, hopefully that will increase and indicate some strength coming back to the weekly chart. Let's take a look at the daily chart. We've already talked about the Friday of the week prior on that big move up on a little bit of an increased volume. It would have been nice to have had as much volume increase over the average as we had back here on 719 when we put this pretty important bottom in, but that didn't happen. The ADX on the daily chart is at 14. Typically on a stock, you'd like to see that around 20 to indicate a strong trend, and something between 15 and 20 for a broad market index or an ETF. However, the fact that it is increasing is encouraging. DI plus is still above the DI minus, so that's a good sign. But what's a little concerning here is that the momentum is starting to fade off a little bit. The black lines are what I consider primary support. You might be tempted to put a support line right here, and I wouldn't blame you for that because that's a big move. So I'm looking for a challenging environment this week. I think a pullback might be in order, at least down to this first standard deviation line, maybe to this support, maybe to this support. We'll know, of course, as trading develops. But these green giant clouds here are an indication of the continuing move up. So we'll watch this carefully and see what happens. Just be careful of this MACD. You may want to just sort of stand off and see how the week develops before jumping in on a lot of trades, because there are a lot of stocks extended, as we all know. So that's the broad market index. Let's take a look at the SPY, which is the standard S&P 500, which most people watch very closely. So you can see the same thing over here. I think you could put a support right in here somewhere. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that come down to that support level, maybe this one, especially as the MACD is continuing to roll over a little bit, showing a weakening in strength. ADX is increasing. It's still at about 14 on the daily chart. On the SPY, let's take a look at the Qs here, which is the technical stocks for the most part. And you see the same thing. For the most part, I'd put a support level in here, probably maybe right where you've got 2 or 3 market actions there. I think that's a reasonable support level. Although it did have a very strong day, stronger than the other indexes on Friday of last week. It's missing important volume increase. We've got lower than the day before and lower than, gosh, all the way back here to the end of August. I do see a tapering off of the momentum. ADX is getting stronger, and we still have these big green clouds here in front of us, which is indicating the trend will still be up, although we may have some daily action on a pullback. So I hope you find this useful. If you do, please share this around, and I hope you have a great week trading and investing.